this, and it's a reply. You know, Kattappa, whatever his real name is, that guy said something, and I want to address that. Uh, he said we should be teaching migrant workers Periyaarism in Tamil Nadu, basically brainwashing them. People who have come to do mostly, I am guessing, unskilled labor jobs. First of all, let me address where I differ from Periyaarism, what I disagree with it the most. So, according to Periyaarism, uh, the Brahmins, uh, oppressed everyone without uh, having land, without having wealth, I guess through power of magic. Uh, Oppressed everyone, especially the land owning caste, for 1,000 years. So the land owning caste, which Periyar belonged to, I'm guessing Stalin Juniors, Stalin, all of these motherfuckers belongs to, finally rebelled, against this irrational magic spell that they have put on the whole society and oppressed everyone without any land, without any weapon, without any wealth. I mean, I know this sounds like, almost like Jews who had similar kind of magic superpowers, with which they oppressed all of the European, against which European society finally rebelled in 1940. They used to rebel a lot, for 1,000 years. But the final rebel happened in I think 1940, right? I could be wrong, 1935, 1940, something like that. And Hitler was, I guess, Periyar of Europe. Periyar is Hitler of Tamil Nadu. So this one community, the most dangerous community ever, Tamil Brahmins, who oppressed everyone, whose women should be kidnapped and distributed. I mean, at least in this specific issue, issue of gender and sexual violence, Periyar was, I guess, better than Hitler. I would say worse than Hitler, but obviously Periyarists will disagree. I mean, this is how we do justice. And this is how Kashmiri Muslim want to do justice with Kashmiri Pandit. And this is how you do justice with, this is how ISIS did justice with Yazidi. Because Yazidis have oppressed Sunni Muslim for thousands of years. So they distributed their women and children. That's exactly how you do justice, social justice. So first of all, I will say to Mr. Kattappa, you don't have to teach Periyaarism to UP Walas and Biharis. They already know. They have their own version of that. It's called Bhuda Bal, Saap Karo. Bhu for Bhumiyar, R for Rajput, Ba for Brahman, Law for Lalaji, the Kayasta. The people who, I don't know if there is any equivalent of caste in Tamil society, people who used to do the whole education thing and used to get more government jobs and everything. And I'm also going to address another idiot that I saw on Ranbir Allawadia show. Was saying, it's funny how these people want India to be America so bad. So they really think there is a red state and blue state in India too, just like America. There isn't. Congress used to win in UP all the time. The Samajwadi Party, both of Bihar and UP, have very similar politics to Dravidians. The same kind of BS. So the land owning caste in Bihar and UP and animal owning caste also says that the Brahman oppressed them. They oppress them so bad that they give them all the lands and all the animals, all the cattle, and all the wealth. What happened in British time was Everything else was destroyed. All the other kind of skills, jobs were destroyed through multiple invasions, European, Islamist, whatever. Only kind of jobs that were left were, you would only kind of job where you will excel, where jobs where education was needed. Skills were intentionally destroyed throughout colonialism. That's why the OBC, other backward class, that's why the Teli, which the caste which Mr. Narendra Modi, Prime Minister of this country himself, India, himself belonged to, were poor because nobody was buying their edible oil anymore. One, society had been bankrupted. Another, all kind of export, all kind of, the competitive industrialization never happened in India. It happened in Europe. Uh, Power by India, power by loot of India, and they also intensely destroyed all kind of looming industry, all kind of industries, which minus the invasion we would have modernized by now, and people who were supposed to be engaged in this thing would have been rich as a f. But they became poor, they became destitute, uh, they were kicked out of their profession. The most badly hit people were Brahmins, who depended on these people for their earning, who were humble, who believed more in spirituality than worldly things. Now they didn't have a society to support them. And before you go on and call them parasite and everything, another group that were equally uh, impoverished were actors, the gypsies who were also massacred in Europe, by the way, by Nazis. The nomad community. I remember I was watching a rendition of Ram Leela, which mostly, I mean, I guess the actors would be called Dalit, a traditional play I was watching, and I wanted to give them some money. My friend who was enjoying this so much more than me didn't let me. I'm same guy who would spend, like, I don't know, 1,000, 2,000 rupees uh, in a multiplex. I couldn't pay this guy like 10 rupees, 20 rupees. I wasn't allowed to. This is what society became to everyone who was dependent on it. Everybody was broken and was supposed to be dependent on British. And before you blame Brahman to get because they got all the jobs where education was needed, because it was Brahman who were doing education. Other people were doing skill-based things. The Baba were doing cutting hairs. The people who were engaging in looming industry were, or in textiles, were doing textiles, designs, everything. See, when Romans were complaining about all the gold they were losing in India, they were not complaining about. They were not just complaining about raw resources. They were also complaining about finished product. And how do you export a finished product? You need one group of people to extract the raw material to make that finished product. Another group make that finished product, and then another group is the middlemen who sell those finished product or export those finished product outside. Right? So multiple group of people were involved. Everyone else was destroyed. Everyone else's livelihood was destroyed. Why am I saying all this on this topic? Is you're blaming the whole fall of society on just one group of people whom you consider privileged. This has happened before. पहले भी हो चुका है. पहले भी मैं तुमसे मिला हूँ. In Europe, Hitler did this to Jews. Oh, and it has happened in Kashmir too. They did this to Kashmiri Pandits. And it's pretty much similar ideology with Periyarist. And what the fuck are you going to teach this to laborers? They were already taught this. The reason they are destitute, the reason they are impoverished, the reason that society is broken up It's because of socialist policies of Lalu Yadav and Mulayam Singh Yadav. They all came from, they were all product of socialist movement, identity politics. And that, you know what that movement said? That movement said, just like Periyar, we're much bigger in number, the upper caste, so-called upper caste, is much lower in number. So we get all together and we rule over them. Except the land owning caste in both UP, Bihar, and Tamil Nadu, sorry, in all three of these states, were never impoverished, not even in British time. Not even in British time. They were Brahmins who sold their soul and become leftist writer and wrote bullshit about their own culture. You know, engaged in atrocity porn and poverty porn and sort of distorting their own history. Right? They were warrior castes who fought for British. And you had your land. People whose life depended on the alms of society or on the skills were utterly destroyed. Those are poor right now. Those are begging right now. Those need help even right now. I'm all for education. I'm all for a lot of things. But teaching them this poison, this toxicity, this negativity about their own culture, brainwashing them to hate themselves and their own history. Every temple that you see, the 10-story, 50-story, the Kailasa temple that you see, all the skill involved in those temples were not a product of one caste. We're not product of one group of thinking. A generation of men who perfected their chiseling, could make that. They were not slave. If you are telling them, if you're teaching them to hate their own culture, you are also telling them not to be proud of everything their ancestors have done. Everything that you see, all the scriptures, all the temples, everything that you see here in this culture is product of all of our ancestors' combined effort. Someone ancestor was teaching, someone was chiseling, someone had to remember all those slokas, someone had to do this, someone had to do that. There was no restriction, by the way, in contributing to those slokas for anyone. Whatever your point of view is regarding this, I will just tell you this. In Gujarat, I don't think any business caste people would be jealous of Brahman because they're doing their 1,000 crore weddings and this and that. They're successful people. I will tell you another anecdotal things from my own life. In Mithila, the Baniyas are jealous of Brahman because in Mithila, Baniyas are not doing as well as Rajasthani Baniya. The Maithili Baniya are much poorer, so they are communist, or they are socialist, or they consider themselves part of this OBC class. I don't think Marwari do. Right, so if my grandfather refused to buy land in market, there is one market, it wasn't fertile land, there was no field there. My dad refused to buy it. I couldn't buy that land. And tomorrow my children are going to blame all the Marwadis who came there from outside of being honor of, of controlling everything, just like Jews, controlling weathers and all that. Whose fault is that? A petty society isn't a progressive society. I mean, this is the kind of bullshit we're teaching. This is the kind of bullshit that leftists are engaging right now in. And they always happen this way. They had their responsibility in the whole Holocaust thing. I know, they get to write history, so they get to hide all this shit. Indian civilization has never done that. Never done that. We didn't do this to Parsis. We didn't do this to Jews. We didn't do this to anyone. Anyone could come here, become successful, become rich. The hatred that I see now against Jain is mostly coming from leftists. The hatred the ignorance that I see now against us. I saw some dumbass when you're trying to form this narrative before BJP won big in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. When you're trying to form this narrative where South was this blue progressive state and North was this red state and regressive, all this kind of BS before this election result came out. There was guy from Telangana. There was guy from opposition side. I saw his interview on some this. He says Maithili and Bhojpuri is dialect of Hindi. Motherfucker, Maithili and Bhojpuri is much older than Hindi. Are you retarded or something? You think being supremacist makes you some kind of progressive person? No, you're the most retarded one here. So to Kattappa, I will just say this. My advice to him would be, you want to help northern laborers, learn few sentences of Hindi. ग्रोसरी किधर मिलता है, होटल किधर है, पानी किधर मिलेगा, पानी पी लीजिए, instead of writing Hindi theriyapadu or whatever the fuck you have written on your t-shirt. Your celebrities, fucking politicians wrote that on their fucking t-shirt. Whom are you fighting against? I'm not, I know this is bad English, but I can at least communicate with you. And I'm not coming there for your unskilled job. I don't give a fuck. I might not even come there as a tourist. As I see your bullshit attitude. Who is coming there? Unskilled, lower level people. Which politician betrayed them. They didn't industrialize Bihar, they didn't industrialize UP. When the whole freight equalization policy happened, they didn't fall back. They didn't say, okay, fine, you took our resources from with freight equalization policy. Now give that freight equalization to us again and let us do cell phones, let us do electronics. And whoever manufacture electronics here also get to enjoy this freight equalization prices, fares. They didn't do that. They were busy with the caste thing and they were busy with fucking up Brahmins, and all the Brahmins are gone from there, by the way. You can teach them to hate Brahmins. That's not going to do anything. This piece of shit pervert that you worship, who wanted to kidnap Brahmin women, this pervert Nazi that you are trying to make hero out of, right? Who said DMK politicians' wife, DMK politician would sell their wife for vote. And the second generation man is worshipping this motherfucker, this ugliest piece of shit I have ever seen. Second generation DMK politician. You know he's abusing his wife and mother. Destroy Sanatana Dharma later. Stop abusing your wife and your mother. That's what that man said. No, instead of using that plaque about atheism in front of temple, why not use that plaque, as Annamalai said, in front of DMK politician's house? Worry about what would happen if Bihar and UP get developed. Because then you are in competition with South Korea, Japan, Europe for unskilled laborers. And they will get all the unskilled laborers. You have destroyed your own people with free booze and free mixy policies. You don't have a workforce. Worry about that. Learn few line of Hindi. Stop beating these migrant people. Stop beating these people. This is how you can help them, not with brainwashing them with bullshit. If you want to help them, and if you want to help yourself. One last thing I would say is, I know you from Bahubali. The Telugu industry is very pro-Hindu industry, very pro-India industry, and they don't see themselves as, they don't have this superiority complex that you motherfuckers have. Learn a thing or two from them, make movies. Right now you have resources. This is not going to last forever. Trust me. Time will change. The will of karma will change, whether you believe in that or not. Gujaratis will come up, Haryanvi will come up, Punjabi will come up, Bhojpuri will come up, and I hope Maithili will come up too one day. Before that happens, try becoming pan-India film industry. Try encasing what you have right now instead of making this boring atrocity porn that you make, and maybe become famous from a Tamil movie. To us, I don't care how you are famous in Tamil Nadu. You know, I know you as Kattappa. I don't even know your real name. So that's all I have to say. Learn Hindi, respect these people, let them live peacefully instead of beating them, harassing them. Right? You can brainwash them later. That had happened already, and that wasn't good for them. That wasn't good for their state. And just by removing surname, you don't become progressive. You are still one of the most caste atrocity. Tamil Nadu is a state where most caste atrocity excuse my English, caste atrocity happen. Still Dalits are not allowed in temples, which, by the way, your caste people, SC, scheduled caste people, operate in. SC, OBC, whatever the fuck you are. Yadava of Tamil Nadu. Okay? Just removing surname do nothing. Do shit. Do better. Thank you. And stop hating Brahmins too, by the way. No, they are not responsible for all of the shit that you do. Thank you.